It's no surprise that the war in Iran is incredibly unpopular right now. Literally nobody fucks with what's going on
across the board,
except for the people that claim to represent us and the president and Alyssa Slotkin. Those are like the people that want it the most. You know what I'm saying? But regular people, we don't want it. And that regular people extends to people who are or formerly were within our armed services, in our military. And this I'm talking about this right now because this week you probably saw the video go viral on Twitter. An Marine veteran was in a Senate Armed Services Committee hearing. The hearing was going on, and he got up and he started protesting. He started yelling at the guys, blah blah blah, protesting war type shit.
He specifically said, "We don't want to die for Israel. We don't want to go to war for Israel." That's
Huge.
What he said.
He said, "We don't want to go to war for Israel." Something I wholeheartedly agree with.
Co-sign.
I also do not want to die for Israel, right? And so Capitol Police get up and they try to remove him from the hearing because he's being disruptive, blah, 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 supposed to do. And then he gets his arm in the door to try and stay in, try and keep protesting, doing what he's trying to do, right? Yeah. Senator Tim Sheehy decides to get up from this hearing, go down there and start helping Capitol Police remove him from the place. Yep. And the guy ends up his arm ends up breaking because of the struggle. Frame, and I just I want to read you the New York Times headline for this. It's Senator Tim Sheehy helps officers forcibly remove protesting veteran from the committee hearing. Mm-hmm. Why are we highlighting that he was helping the officers remove a guy? If I'm watching somebody get arrested on the side of the street and the cops are struggling to get him or get him down, and I go up and kick him in the head to help the officers, that should be illegal.
Yeah, no, the headline should fully be Republican Senator maims protester.
Exactly.
Maims Marine veteran protester.
And it's also just a senator felt so strongly about the fact that we should go die for Israel that he went and helped break a protester's arm. Yeah. What are we talking about?
Well, the New York Post headline was even more egregious. It says, GOP Senator Tim Sheehy helps Capitol Police remove protester who allegedly injured 3 cops, appeared to break his own arm.
No, it's crazy because I read an article right before we started that was talking about how he's been now charged with assaulting officers for just resisting arrest. Yeah, he was charged with resisting arrest and then assaulting officers. It's I don't know, dude. He was in a struggle. He was trying to stay in the thing. That's hardly going out there and beating the shit out of cops like the New York Times is trying to, or New York Post is trying to frame it as. It's absolutely ridiculous, and it's so ridiculous that our senators are literally fighting citizens to get them to shut up about being against the war in Iran.
Yeah.
Why?
This guy, a Marine veteran, a guy who has served in the U.S. Army. This isn't some random protester, right? They can't paint this guy like he's Hamas or some shit, or he's some student from Columbia University. This is a guy who has served in the armed forces, and he is telling people, his senators at the Armed Services Committee, hey, we don't want to die for Israel, which explicitly is what's going on, as we'll talk about. Yeah, huge. People have just admitted that we're doing this shit for Israel at this point. And this guy's hey, no. And he's shouting, he's making his voice heard, First Amendment rights and stuff like that. He gets the shit kicked out of him. They break his arm and then they charge him with the crime.
Yeah.
What?
And then the senator's venerated, or nobody's looking at why did the senator join into this? Why did Tim Sheehy do this? And how is that not just assault?
Yeah.
Please, someone explain this to me. It's fucked up.
He's a big tough guy.
Oh, exactly. Well, he was an ex-Navy SEAL, so it's okay.
Oh, it's okay.
Yeah.
It's just some interagency fighting, I guess.
Yeah, exactly. That's exactly what's going on. It's just, 2 dudes duking it out.
2 dudes
One guy on the side of everyone dying for Israel and the other on the side of everyone not dying for Israel.
Well,
We're really facing a clash of titans right now.
These are things that I consider to be the same.
These are both sides that we should carefully weigh in an argument and consider before we proceed.
Welcome back to Head in the Office, everybody. Today is Thursday, March 5th, and we're bringing you more war news. But before we do that, I got to say, man, shout out and rest in peace, Kristi Noem.
Rest in peace, Kristi Noem. Yes.
Kristi Noem has officially been fired from her role as DHS secretary.
Cosplay Kristi no more. And she's not going to get to go out there and put on her fancy outfits on my dime.
She's been demoted, it seems.
Yeah.
She's been given some other job. I don't even know. I think it's a fake new position, but she's been thoroughly demoted from her position. And Trump wants to have Senator Mark Wayne Mullen replace Kristi Noem.
I feel like this is just a situation where objectively we're getting the worst option here. Because I don't know. I haven't had time to like read on like why she got fired. I know there was some like tension between the administration and her based on like testimony that she had given in front of Congress. But like Markwayne Mullin is just an awful guy.
Oh yeah.
Like we opened the show talking about a senator wanting to go and like fight a protester, a regular civilian, right? And a senator going and doing that and getting his arm broken and being involved in a scuffle. Markwayne Mullin, if you remember, like last year or 2 years ago, the Teamsters union guy was testifying in front of Congress, and he's like, "Yeah, we can take this outside." He's just the worst guy, kind of guy ever.
He's an absolute shithead.
He's a shithead, exactly. He's the kind of guy that looks like he wears a tap-out shirt and gets too angry when he's drunk.
Yeah, and when Markwayne Mullin was trying to sort of like manufacture consent for the occupation of D.C. that started last year, he was saying that when he drives around D.C., he doesn't wear a seatbelt so he can get out and run away in case they try to carjack him.
Markwayne Mullin is the fakest tough guy ever, and he's now going to be in charge of the mass deportation operation.
It's so funny, dude. Yeah, no, he is absolutely bitch made. But rest in peace, Kristi Noem. I'm gonna miss her.
I'm gonna miss her.
I am gonna. I mean, she's a vile human being, but I think Markwayne Mullin's just gonna be boring, boring and evil rather than fun and evil.
Exactly, because like I don't know though, because he did do the seatbelt thing.
Yeah,
like he did do the seatbelt thing. He did do the pretending to want to fight the Teamsters guy. I don't know if we're gonna get a. They're not letting us use the bathroom though.
Yeah,
that was a
banger, man.
And we're not gonna get fun outfits anymore. And we lost something today.
We did lose something, but maybe we gained something in return. Who knows? But shout out Kristi Noem. Anyways, before we get into the episode today, I'm going to remind you all, if you want early access to all of our stuff, if you want commercial-free episodes, and maybe most importantly, if you want to support independent media in a time where independent media is going away almost completely.
Yes.
Become a patron.
You know exactly what to do. You get to do that. You get to do a good thing by supporting independent media, and you get to get your episodes early.
Yeah, especially important to become a patron now because didn't the deal close? Larry Ellison's getting Netflix and shit.
Oh yeah, maybe it did. Yeah, Larry Ellison owns CBS, owns CNN. Mm-hmm. He should have had
Warner
to
Brothers.
Get rid of.
That's what I meant. Warner Brothers is.
Yes.
They're getting Warner Brothers.
Yeah. But either way, they're going to own CNN, going to own PBS, or not CBS. There's too many BSs.
Yeah, there's too much.
Too many BSs. A whole lot of BS.
Whole lot of
BS.
So anyways, consider becoming a patron. It would really help us out. And of course, you get a bunch of goodies on top of that. You can also subscribe to the Substack, where a new piece just went up today, Tertiary News, talking about the top 5 U.S. military interventions that totally ended well for everyone involved.
A lot of them have.
Yeah.
You know, Dinesh D'Souza also dropped a companion piece earlier this week.
Yeah, our colleague
Dinesh D'Souza dropped a 40-minute video talking about like the rich history of regime change in the world and why it's actually like a good thing.
Dude, that is genuinely delusional, because like when obviously the U.S. has done probably like more than 100 U.S. military interventions, or just like clandestine operations to overthrow governments that might have been democratically elected post World War II. Like there's been like more than 100 of them, tons of them in Latin America and stuff. In almost every single time, there's some kind of like violent blowback.
Yes.
Whether it's like immediately after or years down the road. Like I included like Guatemala and then the bombing of Cambodia and Laos. Like both of those are in the piece. And then in Guatemala, we trigger a civil war after we back a dictator. And then when we bomb Cambodia, it ends up consolidating power around Pol Pot.
Nice.
Like every single time we do this shit, there's some kind of violent blowback and we just don't think about it. But apparently regime change always works.
No, but guys, what about like way back when it was just like 2 villages? What about way back when you could just get like the governor of a small village?
Oh yeah, we could go kill the Jarl.
Precisely.
We take out the Jarl and then it's no problem.
Exactly. Then the town crier's just crying about it, but that's all they do.
Yeah, so if you're interested in that and you want to support the Substack, it's completely free. Go over and check it out. Link is in the description. All the other links as well. Follow us on all the socials. You know what to do. And lastly, if you want to support the show, you can leave a 5-star review on Apple and or Spotify.
Enduring free way to support the show.
It's huge.
We do here. It's huge. It's big, guys. It's big, and we haven't had many before. Or in the previous weeks, we haven't had very many on Apple. You guys have been severely lacking. But this week we are back with 2.
It's true.
This episode, we're back with 2. This first one being I Love This Podcast from AAHYLEN2. 5 out of 5 regime change wars in the Middle East, and of course, but it's not a regime change. As we'll talk about.
It's not, but it is, but it's not.
It is, but it's not. And of course, I condemn all political violence. As a resident of the deep red state of South Carolina, it's refreshing to see 2 fellow quirked up white boys with great political takes. I love this podcast so much that I just became a patron because I couldn't wait until Wednesday anymore to hear about how stupid our current administration is. Keep up the great work, gentlemen, and I'm glad to be supporting the House/Board of Peace Axis of Evil Fund. Yeah, guys, it's never been more important than it is now to get us on the Board of Peace.
Yeah.
And it's like, what, $1 billion to get there?
We could make a difference.
We got a long way to go.
Yeah.
But we will get there. We just need $2 billion.
Yeah, and I will say,
donation.
Anyways, this administration really doing our job for us us in terms of promoting the Patreon, because although the gap between the early release and the public release isn't that big, they do so much bullshit that like people might just feel compelled to get the early release.
During the Biden administration, we got away with recording on Sundays and dropping on Wednesdays.
I
can't
and it worked most of the time.
It really did work. There were only a couple times. What's coming to my head is when Tucker Carlson got fired, like right after we said he didn't. That became outdated, but we didn't get like shit on like we are getting shit on right now. And that got shortened. Is record on Monday, release on Wednesday. That's like really like a 2-day gap. And then there's even bullshit that happens between record on Thursday evening and drop Friday morning. What's happening? Like today, I thought on the earlier episode this week that we were going to get blessed by the House deciding to vote on war powers on Thursday. No, I forgot that they always want to vote on shit at night. They never want to vote on shit in a timely manner. They never want to vote on shit when I'm going to see it. They never want to vote on shit when it's going to get disseminated what their votes are.
Why can't they just do shit in a timely manner?
Exactly.
It's crazy. This last review on Apple, SoCal LA 5 out of 5 from Gavin Coyne and Newsom. Whatever that means. Shout out to these two white boys from a brown boy in Los Angeles, California. I also condemn all forms of political violence because this pod has enlightened me.
True.
I appreciate the Newsom hate and have always said he's a great politician. Problem is, politicians suck bigly.
And that's big.
A great comparison for Newsom is President Coyne from the Hunger Games. If you know, you know. I've been listening to this pod for over a year, but I've switched over to Overcast, the app. Apparently, y'all get more money per listen, so you're welcome. Interesting.
I big appreciate that.
The only thing I'd like in return is a third podcast during the week. Count me in as a Wednesday weenie, Friday freeloader, and Monday maniac.
Question mark. You guys are really latching on to this third podcast a week narrative, and I gotta say that's just not feasible right now.
It's not feasible right now, but if you get us a seat on the board of peace, we could do it.
Exactly. If you up the HITO budget to match the Pentagon budget, then we could do it expeditiously.
That's just $1 trillion.
Then it's a small $1 trillion. I mean, these requests for billions of dollars apparently aren't much.
No, it's not. It's really not.
It's
really not.
That
50
much
billion. Like, come on.
It's something to consider. It's pocket change to people like you guys, right?
Yeah. Right? Anyways, thank you for those reviews. If you want your review read, you know what to do. We'll read the Spotify ones at the end. But now we got to talk about war.
Yeah, we do. Because the number one war podcast.
Number one.
We are war correspondents now.
War correspondents, yeah. And I didn't, I can't say I didn't think there'd be much to talk about because I knew war is happening.
Yeah.
So obviously there's a lot going on. But so we'll talk about like the nitty gritty, what's happening on the ground, the updates of like death tolls and destruction and stuff like that. It is war after all. Then we'll go domestic and talk about what the Senate did yesterday, last night. And then we got some just genuinely mind-bogglingly stupid news from my Democrats.
Bullshit, man.
Just some nonsense to wake up to this morning.
Yes, I got
Democrats.
You do not hate Alyssa Slotkin enough.
Oh,
and
dude.
I gotta say, just keep that in the back of your head as you listen through this episode that you do not hate Alyssa Slotkin enough.
I couldn't believe my eyes.
No, these CIA brain politicians are genuinely contemptible.
Yes.
They are just the devil. All of them.
They're awful. But let's get into the war itself. So since our last recording on Monday, the war that we are waging on behalf of Israel, again, not an exaggeration, against Iran has only escalated. So far, 6 U.S. troops have been killed. At least that's what they're willing to admit. I don't know if more have been killed. I don't trust this administration very much.
No, they lie like they breathe. They lie about everything else. They lie about how much things are cost. They lie about whether they're going to go to war. They lie about their war goals. They lie about everything. Why wouldn't they at least lie a little bit about this?
I can imagine them lying about this, especially because, like, unfortunately, the U.S. population, a lot of Americans don't really give a shit if we kill brown people overseas.
Yeah.
They don't think about it too much. But when they start seeing a bunch of coffins come home draped in American flags, that's when the population turns against war efforts. And this one's already incredibly unpopular. If we start getting hundreds of body bags sent home with American soldiers that died for no fucking reason, died for Israel, literally, then I think there will just be a tidal wave of people against this war.
Oh, for
and
sure.
they can't handle that. So I wouldn't be surprised if they were lying about the number of soldiers that have been killed so far.
Yeah.
I have no evidence of that. I'm just guessing.
It's a speculation.
Yeah.
Number one speculation podcast.
Yeah. Reuters reports that over 1,200 Iranians, that's 1,200 Iranians, have been killed since Saturday, the start of the conflict.
That's insane.
That's 1,200 people in 5 days.
That's like almost like post October 7th numbers.
Yeah.
That's nuts.
It's bad. Makes me feel really bad.
Very bad.
Israel has carried out strikes in Lebanon against Hezbollah because Hezbollah got involved a couple of days ago. Several people have died in Lebanon as a result of these strikes. The war is quickly expanding. We're still waiting to see, sort of everyone's waiting to see what the Houthis are going to do because they haven't made a move yet. But very quickly, it seems like this war is going from the U.S. and Israel attacking Iran to a bunch of other proxies and countries getting involved.
No, it does kind of seem like this is very quickly expanding into literally everything in the Middle East.
Yep.
Like literally every country in the Middle East is going. Iran is like hitting like all of the U.S. allies in the region. They're talking about like going and fighting back. It is just expanding and expanding and expanding.
Yeah.
What are we supposed to like?
I just saw before this that the foreign minister of Iran, he's been doing like some American media, taking questions from American journalists and American press. And somebody asked him about American boots on the ground, and he was like, "Yeah, we're expecting it."
Oh my God. And I mean, so am I, low-key.
And like, yeah, at this point, kind of, but like, and you know, he could be bluffing, of course, because he's doing politics. But also for him to just like straight face say like, "Yeah, bring it," that doesn't feel good.
No, it doesn't sound good. I'd seen like reports that said he said they're confident they could fend off a ground invasion, and it's like, yeah, the hella mountains.
Well, yeah, mountains on three sides, ocean on the or sea on the other.
Exactly.
So like,
I really don't know how you like get there. I really don't know how you do put boots on the ground. But Trump is refusing to rule out putting boots on the ground.
Yeah,
and he said it in a very like Trump manner. He's like, yeah, other presidents say they won't. I'm not going to say that. Maybe I will.
Yeah, and I think 2 nights ago, Senator Blumenthal came out of a, I think it was like a secret hearing or a confidential hearing, whatever it was, and he said, "I've never been more convinced that they're going to do boots on the ground, or I've never been more concerned." Something along those lines. At this
point, like, why wouldn't they?
Yeah,
like it's just kind of like the next step, I guess. And there's going to be a whole lot of regime change stuff that we talk about like in a little bit, and it's just like you can't like do any of that without actually having like means on the ground to enforce it or like whatever. I don't know. And it seems like the goals that they have, just like whatever goals that they have, I don't know. It just seems like they want to do wanton death and destruction.
Yeah, again, like we said last time, I think they're trying to go for a failed state situation, like Syria, right? Like where the regime can't hold itself up, and then they're just sort of plunged into a perpetual sectarian war against
just
themselves.
Endless civil war.
And that sucks too, because a lot of people will die.
Yes.
That is not what we want to see. The Strait of Hormuz is effectively closed. Strait of Hormuz is a very important lane, shipping lane for all kinds of different commodities, especially the transportation of oil. Everyone's talking about increased prices next week. I don't know exactly how the oil market works, but I'm guessing $7 gas on the way.
Type shit, yeah.
And let me just tell you, man, Americans are not ready for $7 gas.
No.
Americans love trinkets and they love cheap shit. They will not be. Nothing will make Americans sour on the Iran war faster than $7 gas.
Exactly. I mean, look how quickly they soured on Joe Biden because of egg prices and gas.
Yeah, exactly. Egg prices got to $6 and we had to do fascism.
We had a global pandemic that shocked the supply chain everywhere, and motherfuckers were putting "I did that" stickers on every gas pump across the country. But Americans react like little Hitlers when their gas price goes up.
Yeah, no, Americans cannot handle that. But with the Strait of Hormuz being, again, it's not officially closed, like Iran hasn't actually closed it down, but they have fired on some ships in the Strait of Hormuz. And I saw that there's like an insurance crisis right now. Like none of the insurers are willing to back the ships that are going through that area because it's such a high risk
and
environment.
I'm sure that's affecting the price that oil's trading at as well.
Yeah, of course. Markets are essentially freaking out right now. And I think Trump said something. I think this would be like ungodly expensive, so I don't think it's possible.
Well, unless, as we talk about later, anybody else.
Unless, as we talk about later, Alyssa Slotkin gives them that fucking money. But Trump said something like, "Oh, the military is going to protect every ship going through the Strait of Hormuz." It's not going to happen. No, I don't think it can happen.
That's just got to be like physically impossible. Yeah, it's a major oil shipping. Like there's no fucking way that could happen. But I wouldn't be surprised if he tries.
Yeah,
I wouldn't be surprised if he secures some fucking money. If he goes over to Alyssa Slotkin and Gary Peters and he's like, "Hey, we got to do this," and they're like, "Yeah, I guess we got to do this. Here's $5 million."
Yeah. Unfortunately, one consequence of war, always incredibly predictable, right? Consequences of war, you can't always know where shit's going to go.
Yeah.
One immediately predictable and ever-present consequence of doing war is commerce screeches to a halt.
Yeah.
Because like it's war. Like what do you like people are dying.
Yeah.
And so obviously supply chains are going to break down. Iran has also struck oil and gas infrastructure in surrounding Arab nations. The strategy to me seems to be that they're trying to make the cost of this war just unjustifiable for the US and its allies.
And let me fucking tell you once again before we even get into it coming later, but I don't know if there's any cost that will be unjustifiable when my Democrats are in Congress.
Well, Democrats will pay the cost.
Democrats will pay the. There is no cost that's unjustifiable when you do something in the Middle East. Apparently.
Yeah, exactly. Iran is currently in the process of selecting a new Ayatollah. Khomeini's son seems to be the front runner, although I believe the building that the sort of like committee that selects, I don't know how the Iranian government works, but like the group of people that select a new Ayatollah were meeting together, and that building got hit by a ballistic missile. So I don't know if those people are alive or what the process is.
Yeah.
But just so you know, Khomeini's son seems to be a front runner. From every bit of reporting I've seen, Khomeini's son is worse than the previous Ayatollah in terms of like being conservative and ultra fundamentalist.
Well, who would have expected that? who would have thought that could possibly happen?
Blowback.
What? We do regime change and we get a worse guy?
Yeah.
Who could have possibly imagined that? Guys, we've never seen this in history before.
There's been some rumblings about Trump supporting Kurdish forces in Iraq to then, go over and invade Iran on their behalf.
Cool.
And then Iran, immediately after this news broke, Iran struck some Kurdish regions. So I think Trump might have just got some dudes killed.
Fucking classic.
Also, like the Kurds, first of all, we've abandoned Kurdish forces so many times. Yeah. Like we claim that they're our ally. We let them die wantonly. We do not give a shit about these people. But Trump probably sees, or maybe he wants to see some kind of opening because the Kurds could be like a bulwark against Iran when Iran's in a state of weakness, right? But then Iran just struck some Kurdish bases, so I think that he might have just got a bunch of dudes killed.
He really does just desperately want everyone else to fight his battle there.
Yep.
He really does desperately want civil war to break out so he can be like, nothing for us to do anymore here.
Yep.
It's fucking crazy.
It does just seem like the war is like growing in scope, and that makes me feel bad.
No, that does make me feel bad.
Because I don't want an expanded war.
No, I don't want things to get so complicated.
I don't want any war.
That, like, you legitimately like can't pull out, you know? Yeah. That just sucks, and I don't want to see things get so like big that Israel, like so much of this is just Israel's like, okay, now let's hit everyone around us. Now let's hit everyone around us, and then Iran's like, okay, we're gonna hit all the U.S. allies, and then U.S. is just like, okay.
Yeah. Before we move on to what's happening domestically, I should issue a brief retraction. Apparently, last episode or 2 episodes ago or something like that, one of us referred to Iranians as Arabs, which is wrong.
Oh yeah, no, yeah.
Persians.
Oopsies.
That's our bad, and the distinction does matter. Somebody let us know in the comments, so I figured I would throw it in here.
White guy from the Midwest.
Unintentional
Exactly. White guy from the Midwest, guys. I called it Iran like a year ago.
So true. Anyways, going domestically, the latest on the domestic front is that the Senate voted on a war powers resolution that failed 47-53 along mostly partisan lines. You can guess who voted no. John Fetterman.
John Fetterman is just evil.
Oh,
man.
yeah, dude.
John Fetterman has come out every time something bad, and the things that are bad that are happening have just been getting worse and worse and worse and worse over the Trump administration. Yeah. But he comes out in even more support of the next bad thing every single time.
Yeah, but it does sort of like reinforce my leftist positions because he had like a mind-altering stroke and then became a stupid conservative.
Well, his brain broke and then he became a dumbass. Wow.
It's good to know that like when your brain chemistry is like completely fucked from a stroke, you become conservative. That makes me feel better about my positions.
No, it's crazy because it's like mass deportations get uglier and uglier and uglier and uglier. And John Fetterman at every single turn is just running PR for the administration. He's like, my democratic values haven't left me. They haven't?
I wouldn't be surprised if John Fetterman wanted to be the next DHS secretary.
I think he did. Yeah. There was a tweet he put out like when that happened that was like, I'm so pro open borders. Not open borders. He's like, I'm so pro mass deportations. I love it. President Trump, I have supported you 100% along the way. And then like 2 hours later, it got announced that Mark Wayne Mullen was the next guy. And he's like, I'll vote for him.
Dude, he compared Kristi Noem to Mayorkas.
Insane.
Like, I wasn't a fan of many Biden administration officials, but to compare Kristi Noem, who's been calling the people that her ICE agency killed domestic terrorists, to like a Biden guy is crazy.
Literally.
Like, the defining trait of most of the Biden guys was that they just didn't do anything.
But it's also like, what the hell does Fetterman mean by that? Considering that he doesn't think about anything.
But they're not right wing enough, I think is the implication.
I think he wants him to go harder. Like, I think he's genuinely just a bloodthirsty idiot.
Yeah, no, John Fetterman down infinitely, but Rand Paul was the one yes vote in the Senate. Those were the only 2 flips, but it doesn't really make a difference because the message failed, or the resolution failed anyway. I will say Congress does just love ceding complete and total power to the president.
Yeah, they love not doing their job.
Just a fake ass co-equal branch of government, man. Like it's just, it doesn't exist. Like their checks and balances just don't exist anymore.
We have a president that will just do whatever he wants. We have a Congress that'll let him do whatever he wants, and we have the Supreme Court that says everything he wants is legal.
Yeah.
With the rare exceptions being like tariffs and something else. Like we got the goddamn Kavanaugh stops out of the Supreme Court, where you could just look at a brown person and say, "You're gone, buddy."
The Kavanaugh stops is crazy, man. Yeah, so not great. Congress not really trying to do anything. I know today there's going to be a vote in the House. I think there's like 2 different war powers resolutions. One of them is very watered down. I don't know what the fuck is going to happen here.
Yeah, no.
I would guess that they won't pass.
No, it's 100% not going to pass, right? And it's like Republicans loved campaigning on being anti-war. Everybody in 2024 was like, the Iraq War was a mistake. Our forever wars in the Middle East were so bad. Only to immediately, the second they got a whiff of another possible forever war, immediately fold under zero pressure.
I wouldn't even say it's folding. They just want it.
They just, they didn't fold. It's like they folded under negative pressure. They just want to go back in the Middle East, and Republicans instantly, every single one of them in the Senate, just being like, yeah, that's okay. I was surprised there weren't other Democrats that flipped, honestly.
It's crazy that like Republicans track to the left when they're running campaigns on the anti-war line and try to pretend that like, oh, they're not going to send people to go die in the Middle East. And then Democrats try to take like a right-wing position, like a war hawk position. Republicans obviously get elected because the anti-war stuff is always going to be more popular, especially right now. And then once they get in power, it's like, oh yeah, I want to kill maximum people in Iran. Like,
the Republicans moderate on war and abortion when they're running.
Yeah.
That's it. That's it.
Man, it's bad. In some simply astonishing news, the administration just cannot keep its story straight.
And this is the real meat and potatoes.
This is good, dude.
Man. This is good.
So good. Republicans in the media keep saying that this isn't a regime change war, even though Trump specifically said we're doing regime change.
But it's not a regime change.
Pete Hegseth reiterated essentially we're doing regime change. Or he said this isn't about regime change, but the regime has changed.
Fucking crazy, dude.
His speech on Tuesday was just full of fucking cornball moments.
Absolutely. That's who he is. That's who Pete Hegseth is to his core.
Yeah.
He's just a cornball, man. He's a loser that got clouded.
No, it is the absolute worst, dude. I cannot believe that Pete Hegseth, that this fucking war is being run by like a drunk Fox News host.
No, and
it's incredible.
It's so fucking funny that everybody, Trump's going out there, it is a regime change. We want to do regime change. Pete Hegseth's like, it's not a regime change, but it is a regime change. And it's the same thing that's happening when they're talking about war. Trump is getting out here at every turn saying, yeah, we're fucking going to war with these people. Yeah, we're at war with Iran. Yeah, fucking our American troops die in war. That's just what happens, and that's cool and okay. And then Republican Congress people go and speak to the media, and they're like, no, we're not at war. It's an enhanced combat operation.
Yeah, I can't remember who this was. I think it was some representative. She was on one of the shows, and she said something like, strategic strikes are not a war.
Yeah, buddy, it looks like we're at war right now.
Trump called it a war.
Trump called it a war. Trump's fucking carpet bombing Tehran right now.
Yes.
Blew up a goddamn girls' elementary school. They just sunk a Navy ship. What else is that?
Yeah.
Like, genuinely, you can just call something any other word other than war, and it's just not war at this point?
Yeah.
Do these things not have, like, an actual meaning that we're referring to?
U.S. soldiers have died.
Yes.
Like you said, how is it not a war?
We are actively clashing.
Well, and it's crazy because it's like, they will both say this isn't a war, but also we've been at war for 47 years with Iran.
Yeah.
Like, which is it, man? Is it a war or not?
Yeah.
Like that, the 47 years thing is bullshit. Obviously, it doesn't make any god. We have not been at war with Iran for 47 years. It's nonsense.
No.
But like, you got to pick a side, man. You got to pick a side. But anyway, speaking of Hegseth, I do have a clip that I want to watch here. This is from the speech that he gave, a news clip of it, and this is fantastic, man. This is frankly incredible.
It is. It really is, dude. It's so fucking good. Pete Hegseth, man. It's like he made a career for himself. He did his like National Guard bullshit. Like he did some tours over. And then he made a career for himself just going out and being the most like,
I want to kill people guy
ever. Guy ever.
Yeah.
Just the most edgy, corny, tactical military bro possible, writing books about how women are gay and stupid and shouldn't be in the armed services, how gay people shouldn't be there, and how men should be at war to dress up with each other and all look the same and all be white and all kill Middle Eastern people.
All he's got to show for it is like these corny quips.
Yep.
That's all it is.
He's got corny quips. Like he's a writer. Like he's a writer, dude. Just go write fucking book.
He should have a Substack. Like he should not be in charge of war. He should have a Substack.
No, yeah. Some of these ideas are supposed to be just like there to like push it. You shouldn't be like elevated to this position where you're in charge of the Department of War. Yeah. And it all happens just because he like sucked the president's dick on TV. Like he just flatters the guy, and that's it. And now we have to deal with this.
Yeah. Let's take a look at Pete Hegseth.
No stupid rules of engagement. No nation building quagmire. No democracy building exercise. No politically correct wars.
Politically correct.
We fight to win, and we don't waste time. or lives?
I think they've wasted a lot of lives. Dude, they've killed 1,200 Iranians. 6 American service members have died. What do you mean you don't waste lives? These lives were wasted because this war is for nothing.
Yeah, it seems to me like Pete Hegseth genuinely thinks the war on terror was an utter failure because of like wokeness or something.
Yeah, well,
like rules of engagement are woke and gay. That's why we lost the war in Iraq.
Well, when we stopped doing torture, the military became politically correct. Like, what is this fucking obsession with these people about like? Nobody even talks about political correctness anymore, dude. Nobody's woke anymore. Like, woke is dead, man. Like, I'm sorry.
I don't know where this understanding of why we fucked up before, like, where does this come from?
I don't think it does. I think it's this is what happens when like culture war grievances meet like actual policy that determines people's lives. In this case, when it comes to the military, because like these guys like Pete Hegseth are still just upset that around like 2016 they had to stop saying the N-word, and so now they think that made them less lethal in war, and so now rules of engagement are fake and gay, and we can kill anybody we want because we have these military objectives that we just fucking made up, and we need to complete them because it would be cool to see an explosion.
Well, I mean, the idea is that like Colin Powell was too woke or something.
Yeah,
like in that, or like Donald Rumsfeld was too woke. That's why we lost the Iraq War. Or like when we sent troops into Iraq, they had to, I don't know, be nice to the trans people in Iraq, and that's what stopped us from winning. Like, it's nonsense.
And it's like this rules of engagement shit is insane. Rules of engagement like exist so we don't like kill civilians,
and we still do plenty of that.
And we still do that all the time. It's like to stop wanton death and destruction. To come out here and just be like rules of engagement are politically correct, fake, and gay is to just say that you want to go kill civilians. We were fucking torturing people for years. It was illegal to do so. We were doing it anyway. It's like he saw that we stopped torturing people and thought that the military lost its luster.
Yeah, if the wars in the Middle East, the war on terror would have gone so much better if they just rejected wokeness or something.
Yes.
Like it would have worked had we only, I don't know, thrown trans people in the wood chipper.
Well, if we would have just not let like trans people in the military or black people or women in the military, and it was just a group of all white guys who were clean shaven and clean cut, just like Pete Hegseth, and they dressed like him and looked like him and acted like him, then we'd win every war.
I think this is genuinely how him and guys like him justify doing another regime change war when the regime change wars of the past were so obviously a disaster.
Yeah.
Like you have to be able to point out some variable that you think is different that would justify us doing the same bullshit again. And to him, it's like having women in the military or something.
Yeah.
Like it doesn't make any goddamn sense, man.
He's just the worst fucking guy.
Because if you critique regime change wars for what they are, like an act of violent imperialism that never actually works to get anything done and just destabilizes entire regions, then you wouldn't do this again.
Yeah.
But because he can blame like our past failures on wokeness or whatever, then that like offers him a very narrow lane to be like, okay, regime change is cool as long as we're being racist about it.
But it's not regime change.
Yeah.
But I gotta ask, does that like even work though? Like,
it's paper thin, man.
Like, does this rhetoric like really still appeal to people? Do people I know there's like a subsection, like a third of Trump's base responds to whatever they say. They still eat like all the culture war bullshit up like it's goddamn mini wheats in the morning, right? But like, do regular people respond to that? Do regular people actually give a shit about like political correctness?
No, I think it's just
regular people think if rules of engagement are gay, and it's a performance, and it's gone so far?
Yeah, no, I would bet if you polled people on like the Geneva Conventions, they'd be like 95% cool.
Yeah, exactly.
And then Pete Hegseth would be like, no, that shit's gay.
Well, because it's a Reddit-occupied government. It's the Geneva Convention is just a suggestion. The Geneva suggestion. It's all this fucking bullshit, man. It's insane. And with this, it is regime change. It isn't regime change. It is regime change. It isn't regime change. News broke today that Trump said the U.S. needs to be involved in picking Iran's next leader, but it's not regime change, even though we're killing the current regime and forcing our preferred guy on the Iranian people. But it's not regime change.
But it's not regime change.
It's really important to know that we are changing the regime and we are picking the next guy that's going to run the country, but we're not doing regime change.
Guys, we might have installed a monarch last time, but that wasn't regime change. That was just us, I don't know, rejecting wokeness.
Yeah, that was just because the rules of engagement were dumb. That shit was gay, guys.
Mossadegh was way too woke. We needed to get rid of him to save the West or some shit.
Exactly. 100%. They needed a monarchy, and we're going to do that again here. But it's not regime change. I promise you.
Great.
Trump specifically said, quote, "We want to be involved in the process of choosing the person who's going to lead Iran into the future future. We don't have to go back every 5 years and do this again and again. Somebody that's going to be great for the people, great for the country. So he's saying, if you don't let us pick your new leader, we're just going to keep fucking bombing you.
Okay, yeah, become a vassal state.
Become a vassal state. Do literally whatever, but it's not regime change. Guys, I need to emphasize that we are not changing the regime. The regime is just so happening to change, and we're just so happening to put our preferred guy in power.
Like, they're just doing everything that the IRGC accuses America of doing, and they expect that to somehow weaken the regime.
Yeah.
Like, again, we said this last time, but the legitimacy of the IRGC is built upon this notion that the West won't stop fucking with the Middle East. And we prove them right over and over again. And that's not to say the IRGC is good. I condemn.
Condemn.
But when we just, like, do exactly what they describe us doing, then we shouldn't be surprised when the population doesn't, like, pull away from them in any substantive way. Not to mention that he keeps saying, like, oh, now's your time to free the regime, when the regime's got all the guns and weapons.
No, literally, like what are they going to do?
We're not doing anything. Like, it doesn't make any fucking sense,
Iran's
man.
a huge fucking country, dude.
Yeah.
Big military. Like, there's actual, like, real shit. Like, you can't just bully them into whatever. You can't just bomb them into submission and then say, civilians, rise up.
Yeah. Like,
and expect it to not be bad.
The way to fundamentally undermine the regime would be to skirt their expectations by doing diplomacy.
Yes.
Like, talk with them, establish economic interdependence, and then we can start making some demands of, like, their civil rights abuses.
Crazy how we had that.
But, like, we don't, we're starting to do that, and Trump threw it in the fucking trash. But, like, we obviously Trump is not interested in a regime that protects Iranians or a regime that doesn't abuse Iranians, and he's not interested in making Iran actually, like, say, a safe and free place.
Yeah.
What he wants is to crush the regime and make it a vassal state for the U.S. and Israel.
He pretended to do this because Iran was killing protesters, only for Trump to then go and kill 1,200 people. In 5 days and counting. Like, this is going to continue. They are going to continue to pummel Tehran. They are going to continue to pummel the country and get civilians caught in the crossfire and kill all of them. And it's for what?
Yeah.
Just so we can maybe put a guy in there, just so we can break the country down, just so we can destabilize the region and kill more civilians in the future indirectly. This all sucks so bad, but it begs the question, why are we doing this?
Well, you said, why are we doing it? And
why are we doing this?
I think Marco Rubio gave us an answer this week. This shit, listener, brace yourself.
Brace yourself.
This was unbelievable.
No, yeah, everything is naked, dude. These people just no clothes on. They're showing you everything, dude. It's full frontal, this administration, and it's bad, and it's ugly, and it's gross.
Yeah, Marco Rubio, I believe on Tuesday, was talking to some reporters on Capitol Hill, and they were essentially asking him what the fuck was the imminent threat, right? Because the justification, at least from some officials, again, they can't keep their story straight, but some officials keep saying an attack was imminent, so we had to do something.
Yep.
No evidence for this whatsoever. Yep. And then Marco Rubio just kind of gives the game away. And fuels. I mean, I don't even know if I could say fuel. Just confirms what everyone suspected.
No, yeah, and it's like it felt. Why don't we just roll the clip?
Let's just roll the clip. Here's Marco Rubio.
We knew that there was going to be an Israeli action. We knew that would precipitate an attack against American forces, and we knew that if we didn't preemptively go after them before they launched those attacks, we would suffer higher casualties and perhaps even higher those killed. And then we would all be here answering questions about why we knew that and didn't act.
You gotta be fucking kidding me.
He is saying that Israel's attack was imminent. Israel's attack would have triggered attacks on U.S. bases, so we had to go with them. Why didn't we tell Israel, stop?
Why didn't we, like, put our finger on the lever and say, no, Israel, don't do this. Don't drag us into a war.
Yeah.
Marco Rubio just literally admitted that we let Israel drag us into a war with Iran.
Uh-huh.
That's crazy. And now everyone's trying to scramble to defend this? What?
Yeah, I will say Marco Rubio tried to walk back this statement. Trump said that actually we dragged Israel into the war, not the other way around.
That was so fucking funny.
Which is, I mean, but there's no ambiguity here, right? He just straight up said Israel was going to attack, and that was going to get us attacked, so we had to do something. And, you know, there's always so much conversation about, like, does Israel control America, or is it just another side of U.S. imperialism? And my take, I think, is still just about the same. Everything that Israel does happens because the U.S. approved it, because the U.S. is allowing them to do so, because they couldn't do it without the arms that we give them, the $3 billion they get every single year.
Just on top blanketly, just cause.
Blank check, on top of whatever else we decide to give them throughout the year and, like, the extra appropriations bills. And this is just another case of that. It's just like Biden's red line in Rafah, right? Mm-hmm. Like, Biden said, I have this red line for Israel, and then we just have to pretend like there's some, like, force of nature, or like they're their own country that can act independently of us, when if we just tell them, you're not doing this, they wouldn't do it.
Yeah.
And it's the same thing here. And whether it's because our politicians are compromised in a number of ways, or they just they like match the level of bloodthirst as the Israelis, the fact is that we're in it now, and this shit sucks. We should not be doing this for Israel. We should not be doing it on behalf of Israel. We should not be doing it because our politicians are compromised and captured by Israel. Whatever it is, we shouldn't be doing this shit, and the fact that he admitted it is crazy.
Like that Marine said, like, I'm not dying for Israel.
Yeah.
We should not be out here dying for Israel, because that's exactly what's happening. 1,200 Iranians dead for Israel. Fucking 6 service members and counting dead for Israel.
Yeah.
Fucking countless other people injured for Israel. This is ridiculous, dude.
It sucks, dude.
And if we don't want Iran to attack us because Israel's attacking them, why don't we wash our hands of the relationship?
Yeah.
Why don't we just say no more Israel, or well, no more funds for Israel?
Yeah.
Why don't we just step back and stop letting an ally drag us into things that are making the world less safe, making the country less safe, like just making the U.S. look more evil and awful, which we are.
Yeah, no, we're just doing the bad thing here.
Yeah.
Like, it's, again, you don't have to be a supporter of the IRGC to recognize that this is a totally unprovoked war that just makes shit worse. And that Iran was at the negotiating table. The negotiators or the mediators were saying that Iran was getting close to a deal, and then we just started this war for no fucking reason. And we're saying the regime has to change, and that if we don't have a say in it, we're going to keep killing them. Like, I mean, it's so plain. And like, yeah, it is for Israel.
Yeah.
But that doesn't mean that Israel's forcing us to do it. I think it means that our people in the people in the administration genuinely fuck with Israel, or like I said, they might be compromised.
You know, and that's where that line between like actual like anti-Semitism, like, oh, Israel, the Jewish state is controlling the world, and like actual real analysis, like, it's the fact that like, no, I mean, it's very clear to trace like what's actually going on here. We have aligned interests in the region, is what it is. Israel has been a military base for us in the Middle East forever. It's been like a place that can absorb whatever like bad PR that we have.
Stationary aircraft carrier,
for a long time, and the Israel lobby is very powerful, and the Israel lobby goes and pays politicians to have these opinions.
Yeah. No, there's a lot of reasons that explain our support for Israel. Like you said, military base in the Middle East, a place out of which we can operate. We can use as a bulwark against countries like Iran, like we're seeing right fucking now. And then there's also like the freak evangelical fundamentalists.
Yes.
And of course, there's like some contingents of like Jewish supremacists that believe that the land is genuinely theirs and they have a right given from God 3,000 years ago to like annihilate the Palestinian people or whatever. And then there's like the CIA heads like Slotkin, who support it irrespective of how many people die, because she is a soldier for U.S. hegemony, right? There's so many different reasons. And then, of course, some politicians might genuinely be compromised. And I think that might be the case for Trump. I don't think Trump wants a forever war. I think he might be compromised. But I think there's a ton of people in the administration who genuinely believe in Zionism or America's support of Zionism, because we can use it to kill brown people in the Middle East.
Well, like evil, rich, and powerful people, which we're learning like over the past of the months are just more evil and more rich and more powerful than we ever could have imagined, have wanted this for a long time, right? And I want to bring Jeffrey Epstein back into the fold for a little bit too. Jeff Ep, man of the hour, the man who never dies.
Operation Jeffrey Epstein.
Operation Jeffrey Epstein. Operation Epstein Fury.
Yeah.
Because in 2013, there was like an email that I saw that was like resurfaced after all this. Jeffrey Epstein sent to somebody, he said, hopefully someone suggests getting authorization now for Iran. The Congress would do it. That was back in 2013, right? And whether or not he's referring to just bombing Iran, going to war with Iran, or doing whatever with Iran, it's undeniable that like rich and powerful people have wanted this for forever.
Yeah.
Rich and powerful people have wanted us to engage in war with Iran for whatever reasons for a long time, and now they like finally get it because Israel dragged us into this war.
Oh yeah, the holding bloodfast meme, man. Like it's literally that. Like Lindsey Graham is fucking geeked about this. All the neoconservatives that have been salivating about this for so long are geeked about it, and there is a decent chunk of politicians, whether they're doing it out in the open or more like privately, that are in support of this because it will help with the notion of a greater Israel.
Yeah.
And again, this idea of a greater Israel, this idea that like Israel deserves or needs a bunch of different space that is currently within the borders of other nations, will result in like millions of deaths. But I do think that taking out the Iranian regime is a step towards that for the Israelis. And I've seen some people take interpretation. I don't even know if I can call it interpretations. They're taking people responding to the Marco Rubio bit, saying when Marco Rubio said, we're doing this for Israel, we did it because of Israel. They're taking that and saying, people boosting that, saying like, that's anti-Semitic.
Buddy.
I know, but they're saying it's anti-Semitic, just like repeating what Marco Rubio said, clarifying what Marco Rubio said, that's anti-Semitism. But like, look at what we're doing, man.
Look at what Marco Rubio, the Secretary of State, said. Yeah. Look at the reasons the administration is advancing for why we're doing this. And when we repeat that naked truth, that's anti-Semitism.
But it's what Marco Rubio said. And then Netanyahu was like, I've been dreaming about this for 40 years.
Yes.
And the Americans finally let me do it. Like, I think what happened here, whether it's, there's a bit of, there's some mix of like ideological commitment. There's the component that maybe some of them are compromised to massage shit with Jeffrey Epstein and whatever. But then there's just the fact that like Netanyahu found an American regime stupid enough to go to war with Iran for him.
Yeah.
And that's Trump. Like, that's this administration.
And like, even beyond like Israel and Israel's interests and Israel dragging us into this war, the other Epstein thing, like with that email, is just like, moneyed interests have wanted this too. There is so much money to be gained off like whatever the fuck that is going on here. Yeah. Everybody, like so many of these people just want death and destruction to make money to fulfill their like perverse ideological goals.
Oh yeah, the Department of Defense's budget at $1 trillion, part of it of course is like imperialism, doing imperialist things, but a big part of it is just a wealth transfer.
Yeah.
Because that's just taxpayer money going to Lockheed Martin. Like some fuckers getting rich as hell off the fact that we keep paying for jets that are never going to work or whatever. Like it's just a giant slush fund.
Those jets that got shot down by friendly fire in Kuwait cost $90 million each.
Yeah.
That's $300 million just down the drain.
Yep.
Sometimes it just feels like all the news happens on Monday and Tuesday.
It's messed up.
But my favorite podcast drops episode on Wednesdays. I don't know what to do. It feels like they miss all of it.
That's a curse.
If only there was a platform that I could go to where I could listen to these episodes early, maybe when they record them. Do you have any thoughts?
Boy, do I have a solution for you.
Oh, do tell.
If you head over to patreon.com/headintheofficepod, you can listen to Head in the Office episodes before the curse of Monday and Tuesday news comes out.
Really? Do tell.
And you get access to commercial-free episodes. And everybody wants commercial-free episodes.
I bet there's also a whole host of other benefits and community engagement that they offer.
And friendship.
Very true.
Who doesn't want friendship?
The most important thing.
Absolutely.
In times like this.
Back to the episode.
And I think that opens us up to like this broader conversation about like the actual like cost of what's going on right now and the situation right at hand. The Washington Post reported on Monday that nearly 50,000 troops were already involved in the war, with likely more on the way. That's just something to look forward to. That's just something to consider. How much does it cost to support 50,000 American troops actively involved in the war effort? A lot, right? And estimates for how much that this like has all cost are all over the place, but they have one thing in common, that being we are spending an absurd amount of money on a war that is for nothing.
No goddamn reason.
Killing people, that is for nothing. So how much does the war with Iran cost so far? Mm-hmm. Forbes is saying $1 billion with their estimates, and the Center for American Progress is saying about $5 billion. All the other estimates I've seen have ranged somewhere between those two, right? That's insane.
Yeah.
$5 billion? Billion?
Even just like $1 billion in a week.
Yeah, no, that's why I bring up the Forbes estimate too, because even at its most conservative, that's an absurd amount of money. Yeah. And $300 million of that is friendly fire on our own 3 jets that we shot down.
Yeah, no, it's friendly fire. It's the interceptor missiles that cost a fortune every time we launch them off, which of course they're constantly trying to intercept these Iranian missiles. And it's like you said, stationing people there, feeding people there, making sure they have somewhere to sleep and they're not getting like killed in the middle of the night. There's so many expenses associated with war. Just like the cost of running aircraft carriers is enormous.
Oh, it's like $16 million a day.
It makes sense why
in the region, I think.
The war on terror over the course of 20 years was like $8 trillion.
Yeah.
Like that insane amount of money. We're gonna hit that if we stay too long.
Yeah,
it's crazy.
Speaking of what we're gonna hit, Kent Smetters, the director of the Penn Wharton budget model, recently told Fortune the total economic toll on the U.S. could reach as high as $210 billion. Awesome. This number accounts for direct military expenses that he estimates at $95 billion and the disruptions to trade and whatnot.
Nice.
Just from like Strait of Hormuz closing, instability when it comes to supply chains, just ruining trade relationships with the region. I think what happened a couple of days ago, Spain said, no, you can't use like our military bases to do your shit. Yeah. And Trump said no more trade with Spain at all.
Yeah.
Huh?
Yeah. Well, and the Brits were like, no, you can't use our bases. And they were like,
and they immediately folded. And he's
classic Keir Starmer.
Keir Starmer went on and I saw the video and he's like, just in case they attack us too, we had to let the Americans come over here to keep everybody safe in the region. It's like, come on, man.
In case Iran, hits the British Isles. Come on,
literally,
man. What are we talking about?
They're gonna start a war with Europe. Yeah, okay. That is exactly what's gonna happen. Come on now, let's all fucking. But this all like begs the question of how are we going to pay for these massive price tags associated with this operation? And I gotta say, right, Reports came out earlier this week that said, quote, the Trump administration's top defense and intelligence officials told lawmakers this week that the Pentagon could soon send an emergency supplemental funding request to Capitol Hill. They didn't offer a timeline or dollar value, but the White House is reportedly mulling a $50 billion ask. Billion, 50 big ones.
Just to clarify the context here, the Trump administration's looking at the budget and they're like, shit, we need money.
Yeah.
We need money for this war in Iran that I've launched illegally. And he's going to go to, well, not him specifically, but the administration is going to go to Congress and ask for $50 billion.
Crazy.
That's the idea here.
$50 billion to fund this war with Iran. That's insane. In a just world, this should be an immediate non-starter. Yeah. We should not even be in this war in the first place. So in no way should we be funding an unjust, illegal war to the tune of $50 billion.
But we got special people in Congress.
We have my representatives in Congress. We have my Democrats in Congress, right?
Dude, this is going to make me crash out.
Even more astonishing than that $50 billion request to fund the war with Iran is the fact that some Democrats are considering funding it. What the fuck are we doing? Per Politico, several Democrats on the Senate Armed Services Committee aren't ruling out supporting more Pentagon funding. That includes the panel's top Democrat, Senator Jack Reed of Rhode Island, as well as Senator Gary Peters of Michigan, Tim Kaine of Virginia, and Alyssa Slotkin of Michigan. On funding Trump's war, Slotkin said, quote, I need to know the goals and the plan. I don't rule anything out. I mean, we're in it. You got to be fucking kidding me, dude. You don't hate Alyssa Slotkin enough.
Why are we doing sunk cost fallacy in 2026?
Sunk cost fallacy on a war that's killing people.
Yeah, an illegal war that she's noted is illegal.
That she says sucks, but she's like, oh, I mean, I guess you can't put the genie back in the bottle. I have to give you $50 billion. You got to be kidding me, dude. I am sick and tired of Democrats, spineless Democrats like Alyssa Slotkin being just the most awful people on the planet. Grow a fucking spine. Stand on your own 2 feet. Say no.
It's not. I don't even know if it's a spineless.
It's the CIA brain.
When you see Alyssa Slotkin and other moderate Democrats toy with the idea of funding Trump's war on Iran, I think they just want it. Like it's malice, man. They don't give a shit about who dies, and they're cool with us going to war with Iran because they fuck with Israel so heavy or whatever other reason.
Yeah,
like I can't keep pretending that like these people are just spineless or they don't know what they're doing. I think they're just evil.
You're right. They're not caving because these are just the things Alyssa Slotkin believes, and maybe what she is spineless in is that she can't just go out here and say that she wants this.
Yeah,
she can't just go to the media. She can't just go to her constituents, you and me, and say, yeah, I want to vote to give Trump war to go with Iran because I want to go to war with Iran. She tries to couch it in this fucking bullshit language that just means nothing, that can give her plausible deniability for whatever outcome happens, so she can carefully focus group and means test and do whatever, pull her way out of the situation, whatever negative PR comes with wanting a fucking war with Iran. Because a war to vote for $50 billion, giving Trump $50 billion to fund Iran, is a war to waste my tax dollars, kill Iranian civilians, and kill American service members. That's not something any Democrat should accept. And when you're couching it in language like, oh, I'm not going to rule anything out, you are just saying, you can convince me. If you tell me the right words, I'll vote to give you this money. I mean, we're already in the war. I mean, we already have troops over there. We got to keep them safe. And that's the justification that we're seeing from these Democrats. These Democrats are saying, well, we have to fund it because we have to keep our civilians and our troops safe who are already in the region. The safest thing for our troops in the region is to get them out.
Yes.
I don't know. And maybe that's naive,
like,
but
you gotta, if you genuinely think this war is illegal, if you think what Trump is doing is wrong, then you would cut off the money spigot.
Yes.
You would say you're not getting any more money because you're getting people killed. This is an illegal war. You didn't consult Congress. There's also no point to this war. The imminent threat wasn't real. The nuclear threat wasn't real. None of what they say is real. All they do is lie. I cannot give them in good conscience more money. Not only am I going to say no to $50 billion extra, I'm going to say no to all money entirely.
Yes.
We cannot give these people money if they're waging an illegal war that's just going to make more of a mess of the region. What are we talking about?
And if I subscribe to this notion that we have to fund the war because we can't put the genie back in the bottle, I have to also just believe in the idea that regime change could just work this time.
Yeah.
It could work this time, guys.
More.
We're doing something different. Just one more regime change. Just give me one more shot to do a regime change in the region, and it would work this time. And committing to a full regime change operation is committing to another intervention in the Middle East that will inevitably fail. We spent 20 years in Afghanistan to replace the Taliban with the Taliban.
Yeah.
That shit didn't work.
$8 trillion down the drain during the war on terror.
$8 trillion and not like any goals fulfilled.
Yeah.
The girls aren't in school. Like nothing's happening. Like nothing worked.
200,000 Iraqis died during the Iraq War.
Yeah.
In that like 10-year time span or 8-year time span, however long it was. Like to say that like if we like we're in it now, so we just have to support it, is to say that all of the Iranian lives lost, just that will be lost, just don't fucking matter.
I mean, we're fucking in Afghanistan. We might as well just like keep propping up the Afghan government.
You could use that to justify literally anything ever.
Yeah, I guess we shouldn't have pulled out of Afghanistan because fuck, we're in it. Like the Taliban's still around. Look what happened when we got out of Afghanistan. The Taliban took over. I think that means we should have stayed.
Yeah, imagine Alyssa Slotkin in like the 70s saying, well, we're in Vietnam. We might as well keep going until we win. Like, it's stupid, dude. It's dumb.
We already bombed Laos or Cambodia on one Christmas. We might as well get the next one. I don't know. It's insane,
so
dude.
Awful.
You do not hate Alyssa Slotkin enough. The only tangible thing Democrats can do right now to stop this war is to not fund it. And to watch them possibly give this up is astonishing. Yeah. And I say them, and I do mean all of them, right? Because although it's like Tim Kaine, Alyssa Slotkin, Gary Peters, a select few amount of representatives that may give this enough votes to pass whatever it is. You only need 7. And
they already got one.
Yes.
Yep. They already got one.
You only need 6, realistically, right? It is a complete and total failure for Chuck Schumer and his leadership to allow that many people to go and vote no. That's crazy. They should be faced with threats of whatever leadership can levy on them if they vote to give Trump money here, but they won't because they want this. Chuck Schumer said that his goal, part of his one of his responsibilities as leader, is to make sure that the party's as pro-Israel as possible.
Yes.
What are we doing?
It's those kinds of Chuck Schumer quotes that I keep in the back of my mind, but sometimes I start to think like, did I hear that wrong?
No, I feel like it's a conspiracy.
It's that one, and it's also the like, oh, for every working class voter we lose, we'll pick up like 2 in the suburbs.
Yeah.
It's just like I cannot believe he says this shit out loud.
It feels like some shit somebody made up.
Yeah.
It feels like misinformation. It does. And like so much of talking about all this, even the Marco Rubio quote that we played, that we showed you his face and his fucking voice saying these words, it still feels like conspiracy because reality has just spiraled.
Yeah. No, man.
I don't know what we're living in anymore, man.
It's fucking terrible. No, dude. No Democrat should be voting for this bullshit. I genuinely could not believe my eyes when I saw this morning that like a group of Democrats are toying with voting for it. Yes. 2 of my Democrats, Michigan senators, both of them.
My senators, both of my representatives, dude. It's fucking insane. It's fucking insane. And it's like that's just the vote. That's the only real thing that they can do. The only other thing that they can do to possibly like stop this war or get public support for stopping this war is message. Mm-hmm. And if they vote to fund Trump's illegal war, they lose out on that too. Yeah. It's a 2-for-1, just taking your chances to do anything. Because how can you go to voters in the midterms and say, I'm so different than my Republican counterpart, I also let my party vote to fund this war, or I also voted to fund this war, or well, I didn't want to fund it, but like we were already there and things were already bad, and since things had already gotten bad and Trump already did that, I had to like give them money to protect American assets. I'm pro-America because I'm giving your money to Iran. I'm giving your money to Israel. I'm giving your money to kill Iranian civilians and American troops. Like, what are we talking about? You can't do any of this.
Ruben Gallego said he might vote to fund this Iran war if the Gulf states and Israel pay for half of it.
Are you fucking serious?
Like, who is that for?
I think
what moderate voter do you think you're winning by saying, oh, I'll give them $25 billion as long as the other $25 billion is paid for by Saudi Arabia, the UAE, and Israel? What are you doing? What?
Nobody looks at policy that closely. At least nobody winnable, right? Like nobody like when Trump was on the campaign trail talking about how he's gonna make Germany and all of Europe pay like more % of their GDP into NATO to like stop blah 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 and make it more fair. Nobody gave a shit about that.
No.
Nobody gives a shit about that. Nobody cares about policy on that like granular of level except for people who already know who they're gonna fucking vote for.
So
but Democrats want to catch that fucking weave. They want to like weave their way through all these crazy positions to make it feel like they're against these things when this seems like a uniparty issue right now. Yeah. They cannot go in the midterms if they allow this to happen and say that they're anti-war. And fuck, I wouldn't be surprised if they don't even try.
It's just that 50-50 solution from Ruben Gallego, dude, is some of the dumbest like centrist brain slop I've ever seen.
Yeah.
Because your entire base, the Democratic Party, is saying no war. Like half or 40% of Republicans are saying, I do not want war in Iran. And your impulse is to find a 50-50 solution?
Yeah.
What the fuck are we
Guys,
doing?
Let's meet in the middle.
What?
Guys, the answer can never be on one of the extremes. Yeah, it always has to be somewhere in the middle.
Just say no. I'm not going to vote for it. Why do you have to like pretend to be like an enlightened centrist, piecing together different coalitions to find a solution? Just say you don't want the war.
And it's also like when I go around in my life, when I look at like the median voter or moderates or just people that don't really do politics like I do, that I know, like no one is thinking about the Ayatollah. No. Nobody is thinking about, oh my God, the Ayatollah is such like a horrible guy. It's just, and yes, he is. The Ayatollah fucking sucked bigly, like blah, 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 IRGC bad, Iran government bad, but like no voters like, yeah, we really need to do regime change over there. Yeah, we really need to go do that. No voters swayed by that. They care about fucking gas and eggs and like having a house and being able to afford a house, being able to afford groceries, being able to like have trinkets and being able to live their life semi-peacefully.
Yeah. Yeah.
No voter cares about this. Why are you staking so much of your political career on being pro-war?
I will say more and more voters have started to actually care about the money we give to Israel, which you would think would push Democrats even further against funding the war, because again, we're doing it on behalf of Israel, at least in part.
Yeah.
Like, I don't know, man. The entire base, the entire population of the country, a vast majority of people are moving against war with Iran. I think the highest I've seen a poll is like 27% support. What are you doing?
And it's crazy because I saw Trump say, I believe like today or yesterday or just sometime this week, that like, yeah, I mean, the polls aren't there, but I'm doing the right thing. Oh my God. Oh my fucking God, dude.
Come on.
Where are we? It's like I said last episode, and I'm sure Democrats would say the same fucking thing, because that's how Democrats are acting. And it's like I said, like trans issues can pull 49-51 in support of like hating trans people, and Democrats would throw the entire group under the bus.
Yeah.
But war can pull at negative percentages, and these people are like,
maybe.
Like, guys, you need to carefully consider what's going on.
You know, the Ayatollah is a bad guy. Like, it's absurd, dude. It's ridiculous. And I do want to say, like, we get a lot of shit for hating on Democrats and calling out Democrats, you know what I mean? But the Democrats that are not calling Alyssa Slotkin and Gary Peters and other Democrats toying with giving money to Trump so that he can fund this war, the other Democrats that are not calling them fucking lunatics for this are a part of the problem.
No, absolutely.
Because you exist in a party infrastructure with these people, a party infrastructure that works to legitimize them at every turn. I mean, Chuck Schumer has called Alyssa Slotkin a rising star, and if you're not calling her out for being a bloodthirsty freak for even considering giving a dime to this war effort, you're a part of the problem.
No, absolutely. And that is kind of the problem within the Democratic Party, is the reason why you don't see a lot of like your representatives going and speaking against the party is because the party fucking reams them behind the scenes for saying anything. Sometimes the Democratic Party, like here in Michigan, will fucking ream people for speaking out against Republicans. Huh? For just saying Republicans, calling it like it is. Oh, Democrats are so obsessed with being moderate and appealing to the moderate voter that they can't look at what's in front of their eyes. And they can't say that killing people in war and regime change is bad. Dude, it's fucking crazy. And you have to go out there and you have to be somebody who's willing to step up and speak out, or else nothing's going to change and people are going to continue to like senselessly die for Israel.
Either wars like this are wrong or they're not, right? It doesn't matter if it's Trump supporting it or if it's a fellow Democrat supporting it. You got to call it for what it is, which is a nonsense regime change war that's going to further destabilize the region, kill thousands upon thousands of people, and I don't know what, help Israel. Like, you got to call this for what it is. And if you're not willing to criticize your own side and say like, hey, nobody wants to hear from fucking CIA agents right now, then you're just a part of you're a part of a broader organization that is working to act as the softer side of a consent manufacturing machine for war with Iran. You need to be able to call this shit out. And I don't really see any Democrat. Maybe some Democrats said something, right? Because this news broke today. It might be the case that like some progressive is asked about what Slotkin said and they're denouncing it. I don't know exactly yet.
But it has to be more than just some, right? The party should be out here calling her pathetic. Calling her pathetic, calling Gary Peters pathetic, calling Tim Kaine pathetic, because they are pathetic. It is pathetic to go out there and want to support this or even like pretend that you're considering supporting this. There's no mulling over that needs to happen when it comes to $50 billion for war with Iran.
And that's what I'm saying, right? Because like I see the official Democrats accounts like tweeting shit at Trump saying like this is Trump's war, this is a disaster, all that stuff. But the actual party itself is stocked with people that are either considering supporting the war financially or people that have nothing to say about those that are. And that to me is the entire problem. Like, it just means that like the Democratic Party is not an anti-war organization, which of course we already know, but the Democratic Party isn't even interested in advocating advocating for the interests of the American people. And that's what frustrates me.
Absolutely.
Because there are like decent legislators and people that I genuinely like within the party. But if you can't call out people like Slotkin, people like Ruben Gallego for toying with this idea, for building consent for a war that is going to be a fucking disaster, then like, what are you doing? What's the point of you being in that position?
Yeah, but this is why Trump's approval rating is tanking, but Democrats' approval rating is staying steady. And in the shitter, by the way. Like, it's not staying steady at a good
Historically
level.
low.
Historically low, staying steady, continuing to be bad while Trump's is tanking. You would think that when the president's approval rating is taking, if they're of the opposite party, that the other party's approval would go up just by virtue of voters have nowhere else to land. But it's not, because voters do not like this kind of behavior. Nobody likes the Democrats, and it's because of shit like this right here. It's because why would I feel represented by these people? Both of my senators are out there being like, yeah, fuck Iran, am I right? And I don't think that. I don't want that. Both of my senators are out here being like, yeah, I'm going to give Gage's tax dollars to fucking every single dime that Gage and Jeremy have ever paid to the federal government to Israel or to kill people in Iran.
I am sure that if you polled people on should we spend $50 billion to go to war with Iran right now, like on top of what we're already spending, I guarantee you that would poll at like 2%.
Absolutely.
Like, nobody wants to do that bullshit, man. No. Everybody remembers the war on terror, or if they don't remember it, they know enough about it to know that shit was a complete waste of time, money, and lives.
Yes.
Nobody wants this. Why are any Democrats coming out here and supporting it? And why aren't more Democrats calling these people out and saying, like, hey, war bad?
No, yeah, you should be publicly fighting with your party. You should be doing public infighting about this because that would help people trust you.
And they're a part of the problem. Like,
exactly.
It's not like a pointless fight just to get your name credit or just to get like your name ID up. You're fighting them because they're a part of the problem.
And this is like real. And once again, every time we want something good to happen, it's how are we going to pay for that? Anytime I want healthcare or SNAP or Medicaid even, because those were taken away from us last year or taken away from millions of Americans last year, it's, how are we going to pay for that? We just don't have the budget for that. But the moment it's how many fucking dollars can we get to kill people in Iran, it's, I'm opening my pocketbook. I'm opening the pocketbooks of all my constituents to give you this money. And I want to read you something from the Center of American Progress here, because this puts a lot of things in perspective. Priced at around $2.2 million, a single Tomahawk missile could cover 775 children on Medicaid for a year, or provide more than 3,600 children with meals in the National School Lunch Program. At more than $5 billion and counting, the cost of Operation Epic Fury, in only its first few days of operation, could cover Supplemental Nutrition Assistance Program SNAP benefits for more than 2 million Americans for a year. If this war continues at the same pace, Americans could see their government burn through tens of billions of dollars, funds that would amount to the cost of Medicaid for millions in the United States.
Dude, we cut Meals on Wheels for this.
Yeah, last year they took away Medicaid from millions. They took away SNAP from millions. And this year they're using all that money that they may have saved from that to fucking go to war with Iran.
Operation Jeffrey Epstein.
Operation Epstein Fury at full force, man. Come on.
Going to war for a greater Israel or whatever the hell, man.
Dude, I open the news and all I see are bloodthirsty freaks and pedophiles.
Yeah.
It's crazy, man.
And a party unwilling to call them that.
Yes.
And an opposition party unwilling to say these people are bloodthirsty freaks and pedophiles.
Fucked up.
Like, again,
that's what everyone sees.
I don't like having to hate on Democrats all the time, man. And I don't even really think it's hating. Like, it's meaningful critique. You know what I mean? Like, this stuff, I do think this stuff needs to be said, and it's important to lob these critiques. The nuance matters. And there are some decent Democrats, like Ro Khanna has been doing some decent stuff. AOC's usually on the ball. I've been liking what Summer Lee puts out, but there's just so few Democrats in the party who are willing to point to the moderates, the ones again that are considering supporting this war effort. There's so few that are willing to look at them and say, like, hey, these people are a part of the problem. Yeah. These people are basically acting as Republicans, and these people are going to get a bunch of people killed because they're manufacturing consent for a war that they already know is an illegal disaster. And when I don't see many Democrats getting out and saying that shit, what am I supposed to do? What are we doing?
How am I supposed to be excited to vote for these people?
Yeah.
Like any of them, dude. They fucking suck.
Yeah.
And the moderates are the ones that control the party. It's the people that do get out there and speak that are constantly shit on by the Democrats.
Yeah.
The majority of these people will stay silent when good things are, when like someone says a good thing and they get shit on for it, because they want to continue to curry favor with whatever leadership Chuck Schumer has to say about this. Chuck, I want to give $1 billion to Israel Schumer. Chuck, I don't fucking care about anybody who's not a suburban voter Schumer.
Dude, Chuck Schumer made up an idea of like Republican moderates that he talks to in his head.
Yeah,
the Baileys.
That's brain damage, man. That is brain damage. If you're a Democrat, you were elected by Democrats to represent the people of like New York, right?
Yeah.
You say you're a Democrat, but then you go and when you think about policy, you say, let me consult a Republican family that I made up in my fucking head.
Yeah.
That's brain damage. That's a fucking get out of Congress, man. That's old man behavior. You have dementia, please leave.
Yeah, no, I need to see more out of these fucking Democrats, dude. It's bad out here.
It is bad out here.
Anyways, is that Iran?
That's Iran for me. That's Iran for this moment in time, which could change by tomorrow. Keep in mind, war powers are being either voted on as we speak or will be voted on after this episode is recorded.
Yeah.
Let us know in the comments which Democrats voted the wrong way on that one.
Yep.
Because I've seen reports range from anywhere between half the caucus could be voting with Republicans to like only a couple. I don't want to believe that half the caucus could be doing it, but please let us know.
Well, I mean,
please drop in the comments.
We know Hakeem Jeffries is not whipping votes.
Yeah.
Like, he's not pressuring voters or he's not pressuring members to vote a certain way. Again, the party is just like you can't place yourself as like the anti-Trump coalition and then do nothing to meaningfully challenge this act of the Trump regime. Like, what are we doing?
Yeah, like I think it's only going to be a couple. I'm hoping it's only going to be a couple, but who fucking knows?
But again, and those couples should be called out and defamed as fucking warmongers.
Oh, they should be raked over the fucking coals.
Exactly.
Like, it's insane.
But this fucking party, man, they would do it to progressives.
My Democrats.
If
yes,
progressives were the lone votes voting alongside Republicans, they would rake them over the coals.
Yeah.
But because they're moderates and because we've convinced ourselves that we need them, nobody's going to say a damn thing. And that shit sucks.
And that shit does suck. That shit sucks hugely.
So that might be Iran, but that's not the end of war news.
No.
We got to talk about the DOD and this like AI saga that's been unfolding. A story that we haven't had time to talk about.
Crazy news that's gone under the radar because everything is bad.
Yeah, everything is bad. Everything is awful. But this started unfolding maybe a week or 2 weeks ago, something like that. Hegseth essentially told all of the companies with AI models that the government is using that they got to let these AIs be used to kill people.
Cool.
And
lethality, war fighters, gay rules of engagement, political correctness. Am I right?
And Sam Altman's OpenAI, the Google AI, they're all like, yeah, cool, use it for whatever you want. The only company that had some hangups was Anthropic. And Anthropic told Pete Hegseth and the DOD, hang on a second, we don't want our technology to be used to kill people.
Yeah.
Like they had a couple of demands that they didn't want the government to be able to use their technology for. And they specifically cited the model's not ready to handle this kind of stuff.
Okay, nice.
So please do not use it for this. And as a result, Pete Hegseth and the DOD marked Anthropic as a supply chain risk. Which is a designation that essentially prohibits governments. I think I know the federal government. I don't know about state governments, but it prohibits the government from working with Anthropic in any way.
Bro, why does everybody in our government want to kill people so fucking bad?
Yeah.
Like, they are bloodthirsty freaks and pedophiles, man. Oh, fuck.
And, like, obviously, Anthropic's not, like, a hero here. They just had, like, some amount of foresight to know that, like, this shit would be a disaster.
Bad PR.
But, like, the deeper thing is the government, this is just confirmed at this point, that the government's going to be using AI to kill people.
The government's going to be using AI to kill people, and if you don't allow them to use AI to kill people, they're going to make your life hell. The government is going to pressure you and possibly ruin you if you don't let your AI be used for more death and destruction.
Yeah, another reason to not make AIs, to not develop these fucking LLMs or whatever. So the demands from Anthropic were don't kill people with the model because it's not ready for those kind of calculations.
Yeah, but once we get it there.
And please don't use it to do mass surveillance. Okay. Those were the two demands, and those are what pissed off the DOD.
Damn.
Which means they just want to do that.
I love my government. My government represents me.
Yeah.
My government is good and just and righteous and holy.
Not good. So that's the DOD. That's the AI update. Bad shit.
Yeah, no. Now for the last story we're going to talk about, we got to talk about what's been going on in Kansas recently with like this recent anti-trans bill that went through. So there's two parts to recent anti-trans legislation that was passed in Kansas, I believe at the end of February. And it's fucking insane. It's just like, back under Joe Biden, this would have been something we talk about for a whole episode.
Oh, yeah.
But now under Trump, we got to worry about everything else. So I'm going to give you like the quick and dirty of it. So the first part just invalidates like trans people's licenses if they don't reflect their gender assigned at birth. And it's also a bathroom bounty bill.
Oh, cool. Just everything.
Everything. Yeah. The big trends in being anti-trans here. Fucking awesome.
Anti-trans omnibus.
But there's also like a secret third part of this legislation that's like not like directly anti-trans, but evil as well. Usually when a law is passed in Kansas, it goes into effect on July 1st. But with this one, they added a special provision that made it law as soon as it was published in the registrar, which is every Thursday. So you had like a week to become aware of this law and become compliant with this law. That's insane.
Yeah.
That is a crazy turnaround. The license portion specifically is estimated to affect affect 1,700 trans people in Kansas, and the state sent out letters to them to say that their licenses are invalid and they need to immediately go to like the DMV and get new ones that reflect their genders were signed at birth. But the letters are taking longer to send out than the law took to go into effect.
Of course.
Or the law took to like reasonably go into effect, right? So some trans people don't even know they're walking around with invalid driver's licenses, and some people who were sent their letters on Wednesday night or Thursday morning had to like figure out accommodations to get them to the DMV, because if they would have drove there themselves, they would have gotten in trouble because their license is invalid.
Yeah.
What are we doing, man? That's just
crazy.
evil on evil on evil.
It's insane itself. Like, it's already incredibly evil. There's no reason to do this. But just to find out that it only affects 1,700 people.
Yep.
You wrote a bill that goes after, for no fucking reason, 1,700 people. Was it that much of an issue, this license thing?
No, it's not an issue at all.
Well,
like,
of course
who's
it's not an
asking
issue.
for this? Like, if this was an actual issue, like, I don't know, like, doctors would be like, okay, yeah, maybe. But I don't even see that.
No.
Like, it's not something that anybody fucking cares about. And the bathroom bounty part of it all is just like, we've been over how awful and evil and stupid bathroom bounty bills are, because it's just a thing that's designed to cause confusion.
Yeah.
So a lot of trans people go out there and they pass.
Yeah.
So what happens when they go to the bathroom that matches their gender assigned at birth and somebody thinks they're a trans person and then harasses them thinking they're going to get $1,000 out of it?
Yeah, and it's just like, trans people don't go into bathrooms to harass people. It's not a thing that happens.
Exactly. It's not a thing that happens. Republicans are more likely to do that.
Well, no, literally Republicans are more likely to do that. And like, people will often point to like, oh, well, if you allow trans people to use the bathroom that they want, then like non-trans people will use it to cynically go into the bathroom and harass people. It's like, well, that's a cis person.
That's a cis person, and they already do if they want to. Like, I guess, I don't know, man. Like, it's not a fucking problem. It's not like this great moral rot that's gonna happen. This shit is all so fucking stupid.
It's really stupid. Just let people use the bathroom. It's not that big of a deal.
Yes.
Like, God,
let people use the bathroom. Let people put what they want on their fucking license.
It doesn't make a difference.
Crazy.
It makes no difference.
It doesn't matter at all.
Yeah, it just like, it helps one person, man.
It just the whole like putting the law into effect immediately is just the cherry on top of being just evil.
Yeah.
Of the most awful guys doing the most awful thing ever, man. Why? Once again, I look at the news and I see pedophiles, I see bloodthirsty freaks, and I see people trying to attack a minority group for no fucking reason at all.
The fact that there was no grace period whatsoever just proves that they were trying to hurt as many people as possible.
Yeah.
Or like hit them with crimes or lock them up in jail or something.
And then go like pat themselves on the back for like doing a good thing, for stopping the moral rot within society. Buddy, the moral rot is you.
Yeah.
Like, I'm sorry, you are the one that's degenerating what this country is. And like, they won a fucking election and they think they can just do the most awful and heinous shit. And apparently they just can.
Yeah.
Like, they just can do this and they can just get away with it. And then I have to go look at my prospective 2028 nominee Gavin Newsom go and say, yeah, fuck trans people, all right?
Oh my God.
Yeah, guys, we got a little too crazy with the pronouns there, didn't we? Because you are seeing
Democrats need to be more normal.
Shit like this has to happen.
Yeah.
God damn.
He said Democrats need to be more normal. Gavin Newsom also called Israel an apartheid state recently.
Yeah. That, I don't... Like,
this guy believes in nothing, I think.
I think that's what it is. I mean, like, I'm happy to see that Israel's PR has gotten, like, so bad that even, like, freaks like Gavin Newsom have to, like, acknowledge it. But I am skeptical that he means anything. Like, I am skeptical that this isn't just him, like, testing the waters for what's going on. And I know fucking liberals are going to get in here, and if you listen or if anything happens, like, they would tell me or someone who says the same thing as me that, like, oh, you guys are never happy. You guys can't be happy with anything. Didn't you win? Like, he said the thing that you wanted. Like,
well,
can't you be happy? It's like, it's easy to say something.
There's a difference between, like, genuinely changing your position based on, like, talking to people and listening to your constituents and stuff, and then cynically switching positions because you got so much blowback for the other bullshit that you said.
Exactly.
And you want to run for president in a few years.
No, literally.
Like, those are two fundamentally different things, and he just seems like a chronic flip-flopper who doesn't believe in anything.
Exactly, and like, look at what all the other flip-floppers have done who said Iraq was a mistake. Look where we are now.
JD Vance!
Well, it was just Iraq, it wasn't Iran.
Yeah.
Guys, are two different I words.
Also, like, if you're willing to say, yes, Israel is an apartheid state, then that should necessitate cutting off all arms to them forever.
No, yeah.
Because, like, how can you justify, like, funding an apartheid state? I would imagine, though, that he would sign on to bills.
And it's like, did he just say that they were an apartheid state and that's it? Like, it stopped there? He didn't also go and be like, Netanyahu's, like, evil?
I don't know. I only saw the apartheid bit. So we'll see.
It's just like, I don't know. I need to see more before I actually believe it from freaks like Gavin Newsom, because none of these people are good.
No.
None of these people are just. So many people are just going around there, and they recognize it's the one day everyone will always have been against this. Like everyone is going out there and trying to pretend that they're on the right side of history, even though they so clearly were not when the actual bad thing was going on.
Yep.
It's oh my God, it's the easiest thing in the world.
Yeah, no, it is not great. Anyways, that wraps up the show for today. But before we go, we do have to read our Spotify reviews on the most recent episode.
Yes.
If you want your review read, you know where to go, Spotify or Apple. Leave a 5-star review, and we'll read it here on the show. This first one from Sugar Free Baja Blast. 5 out of 5 condemnations of war and political violence. Last time I left a review, I forgot to leave a rating and was appropriately condemned.
Yes.
I am glad the QUWB of HITO.
Course up, white boys.
Yup, can at least stand by their principles, unlike the dove that has decided it was time to launch Operation Epstein Fury to make his friends rich and kill civilians and American service members in the process. Everything sucks bigly except for HITO.
Huge.
Thanks for helping me stay sane in these trying times. I condemn Hamas in all political violence or something.
Yeah, imagine just like trying to get free college and now you got to go die for Israel.
Yeah.
Insane fucking work right there. Insane, man. This next one from Brady Ritchie, 5 out of 5 wars in the Middle East. I found y'all in TikTok before Ellison's dogs took over, and now on Spotify. Your boy broke and can only be a Wednesday weenie for now. Big on for now. I have shared this podcast with my pro-union dad and his girlfriend, so they might no longer support my Democrats as often. As always, I condemn any and all political violence, Hamas, and all terrorist organizations that harm U.S. citizens. Long live the people. HITO Republic HITO Republic Co. Leaders Jeremy Engage.
So true. This next one from Ben C. Five failed regime changes out of 5.
Oh, maybe a little more than that.
I found, many more than that. I found your show on TikTok and have been a loyal Wednesday weenie and Friday freeloader since. I'm in paramedic school and plan to join the Buy a House in Cash Fund once I graduate. Big. Of course, that's assuming I don't get drafted and shafted by the government before I'm done with my clinical hours. I condemn all political violence, and anyone who doesn't know which one is Jeremy and which one is Gage. Long live the HITO Republic. I will say, as we mentioned last episode, there's a number of things that disqualify one from the draft.
Yes.
Look it up.
Look it up. Figure it out. Figure out if you qualify or if you could qualify. This next one from Logan Hicks 17. 5 out of 5 stars for these boys in blue. Detroit Lions blue, of course. I usually listen to HITO at work, but just started listening at the gym. Something about the encroaching possibility of getting drafted to the Middle East really gets me going. Keep up the good work, boys. Listening to y'all's show is something I look forward to weekly. Oh, don't you mean like twice a week? What's going on there? Also, isn't this kind of an old war? They might have got us on the technicality with this no new wars thing. Food for thought?
No, there's no. This is not a.
The last 47 years.
Well, the last 47 years thing is so funny to me, man. Because like the cutoff date there is 1979.
Yeah.
But it's not clear to me why we wouldn't stretch it back to 1953 and say we started a war on them when we overthrew their democratically elected leader.
Well, no, because when you play with the timeline.
But like because the 1979 thing, they're referencing like the Death to America chants, Death to Israel stuff. It's like that, but they act like that just came out of a vacuum. It's nonsense. And then, by the way, we funded Iraq in the war, in the Iran-Iraq war immediately after that, like a year later, and our money went to fucking Saddam.
Nice.
And then that's why Saddam had this big-ass army he used to invade Kuwait. Like, everything in the Middle East is our fault, man. Every single time.
Fucking awesome, dude.
God, it's terrible.
Gotta love this country, man. And gotta love this last review from Hope. 5 never-ending wars in the Middle East out of 5. I've left a review before, but I plugged the podcast at work, so hopefully we have more members in our congregation, fingers crossed. Hopefully, knowing what we get paid, I probably haven't got anybody to help you guys buy a house in cash or get a spot on the Board of Peace yet. Yeah, guys, once again, I will make my plea. Like, we got to get on the Board of Peace. We could do some real good there now.
Yeah.
We could do some real good there with the low payment of $1 billion.
Somebody said, born too late to know what a Shah is, born too early to know yet whether one will return. I will say, the Shah, as this other comment says, is essentially a monarch, an Iranian monarch. And before we overthrew Mossadegh in 1953, the Shah was being sort of relegated to like a ceremonial role, sort of like the UK. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
How like the royal family doesn't really matter, but they still get like public attention.
Yeah, they still
like,
just be friends with Epstein.
Yeah,
and shit.
historical remnant. Yeah, exactly. Historical remnant and shit like that. So the Shah was being sort of relegated, and then of course the CIA taps the Shah and says, "Hey, we're tagging you in." And the Shah does eventually become the leader of Iran.
And now the Shah's son gets a spot at CPAC.
Yeah, the Shah's son gets a spot at CPAC, and he's just a guy living in Virginia who pretends to have like any kind. Like, you're just a citizen, man.
Yeah,
like,
no, you're just here, dude.
There's no throne anymore. Like, it's so funny. And I think back when we overthrew the Iranian government in the 50s, I think once that happened and Mossadegh was like ousted, the Shah was like recorded saying some shit like, "Oh, I knew they loved me." After we engineered the coup, he was like, "Oh, I knew the people loved me."
Dude, fuck yeah. How it's going to be for this new guy that Trump picks.
Lame shit, dude. Well, I do love how he's just passing over Pahlavi. Like, that's funny as hell. Like, he's not even talking about him.
That's true. That's true. Yeah, Trump, they're not even pretending.
Trump loves just, like, completely shafting the regime opponents. Like, he did that in Venezuela, too.
Yeah, he did.
He's just like, "Oh, no, nobody's talking about her."
She gave him a fucking Nobel Peace Prize, and he just threw her under the bus.
It's awesome.
And she's not, like, great. But
no. It's just so funny that she gets shafted. The prince gets shafted. It's so funny, man.
Yeah, no, just for like the next guy. It's just like I wouldn't even be surprised if the next guy that Trump gets to pick is just some IRGC fellow.
Yeah.
It's likely what it's going to be because how could you completely dismantle the IRGC?
Yeah, no, you can't.
You just it's just not gonna fucking happen, especially without boots on the ground, unless you're willing to just like genocide the fucking country.
Well,
with Israel involved.
Yeah, I was about to say Israel is involved, and they got our money, so we know what they do with that kind of thing.
They've done one before.
Yeah, it's so funny to call yourself crown prince when like there's nothing to be a prince of anymore.
Not the Vegeta shit.
Like, there's nothing to be. It's just so funny, man. Anyways, that brings us to the end of this episode. I hope you all enjoyed. And we got to thank our patrons.
We got to give a special thanks to the people that will one day help us get a seat on the Board of Peace, starting with Caden Kraut, Chris the Postman, Christy Beck, Mike Chuplinsky, Clayton LaFed, Mark Yeager, Caleb Joy, Rich Taro, Tari, Fergalaki, Max Vasquez, Jacob Rogers, Colt Movie, Fixer, Punk, Jim Egbers, Baby Burrito, Cincy Elks, Joe Stenstrom, Adrian Sandoval, Chloe Sam601, Colleen Kutch, Jennifer DeVoe, Crawfish, and Bennett Bennington III, Alexei Benanti, Big Booty Beatdown, Sam Maloney, Ted Gur's Boy Toy, Dictator Jace, Luke O'Shea, Carker Charles, and Danielle Jackson, The Word of Microsoft, Jennifer Science, Aaron and his Gundam Gundams, Darth Father, Tailored for Content, Corey Chambers, Retro Mondo, Veronica, aka V, Raxon, Ash Smith, The Grottler, Murder in a Trench Coat, Casey Lynn Kelly, A.K. Ghana, Guana Don, Zach Lantian, Austin Greif, Marcus Corbett, Caleb Roper, Taylor Ensock, Cammy, Tylen Freeman, Isaac Hodges, Madeline C., Anna Valinik, Casey C., Say Yes to West, August, Particular Pickman, Sir Capelot, Jeff Sines, Brenton is Egg, Froggy Gumdrop, Jackie Boy, Shameless, Coherent Babbles, MJ is Sharp, Michaela Muncie, The Wallace 3000, Chris T., Kashan Lala, Amanda R., Tyler J., Particulon, Memfrez, Ron Slido, Midwest Marks, Joe the Mailman, Gary from West Michigan, Shawnee Gigi, Juniper, Not Jupiter, Stack Crabs, I Crowley, Urban Beach, Lord of Forlorn, Hope Forsyth, Booty Snakes, New Fairy, Chelceratops, Austin Lima, Lane Waltz, Gorgeous Girl Mukes, Brooklyn C, Noverk, The Dastardly,
Goldthorn, Eddie Book, Merlin, Cryo Bongi, Sergeant Pookie, Hoodie, Rose Grimm, Kristen, Jamie the Young Extremist, Jack the Heathen, Archer W, Evan Mingo, AJ Torres, Elo Nico, Jake Hall, Seth Schmidt, Noah Sajas, Mojo What, Ultra the Dragon, Mercy Boku, Dick Cheney and 6-inch Heels, Luke Wechter, Henry Kraggles,
Dick Cheney and 6-inch Heels is big right now.
So true. Everywhere there are Dick Cheneys everywhere.
Everywhere for those with eyes to see,
man. Tristan Ringsmith, Yaya, Asura the Atheist, Aiden Reese, Deep State Agent, Puddle Pirate, Southern Lefty, Lark 61, KC, Cannon Man, Troy H, Rourke Muffalo, Nahan San Diego, Nut Mode, Nick from New Haven, Connor Nix, Sound Logic, Sleven, I Have Never Made a Woman Orgasm, John from Houston, Jordino, Haley Weibold, Pablo Vazquez, Nurse Jen, Soul DJ, Maple Big Dog, CIA Small Creators Fund, Taylor from Burnt Down Minneapolis, Northeast Nick, Aya, Retired AF and SC, Wolfer G, Gayest Worm, Niles Chamberlain, Sugar Free Baja Blast, Kristen the Leftist Nurse, Fake Airplane, TJ Loves Colleen, Mothman's Gay Lover, Real Jesus Christ, Queerla, Carter Gethin, Blulu 92, 1000 Miniature Horses, Will Grant, Gay for Jeremy, Hail Libertas, Walter Vonder Vogelwide, Rad Dene, Captain Butt P.
Captain Butt P, we need you right now. We need
Captain
you
Butt
right
P,
now.
you're being deployed. Cam Toki, Chef Sam, Mexplique, Mealy Ducard, Call Me Bubba the Way I Receive HITO, Gina, a platypus named Icarus, K Boob, Randall What, Popo Dilly, Quasi-Pox, Jeremy the Killer, Faded Weapon, and my mom. Thank you all so much for supporting the show on Patreon.
Remember, we cannot get to the Board of Peace without you.
Yeah, and you definitely can't get 3 episodes a week unless we get to $1 trillion. We need $1 trillion yearly budget. It's just the way it has to be, folks.
We need that shit to go up.
Uppity, up. Anyways, thank you for listening. If you need your name on this list, become a patron.
Do. Come on.
Become a patron. And if you are a patron and you should have your name on this list, but it's not, DM us on Patreon.
Yes.
Let us know.
Please.
So that we can remedy that situation immediately. Anyways.
Also, try to have a great weekend.
Try.